go to my second day of my last semester of clinicals. I'm in a cardiovascular step-down unit. My wipers are going. While most of my classmates are in an ICU or an emergency department. I've had really good experience with clinicals most of my rotation, and this is probably the least satisfied I've been with clinicals, because partly I'm not at all interested in working with cardiovascular patients, and now that I'm at my last semester of nursing, I feel like probably most people are starting to know where they're headed by this point. I mean, I kind of knew from the beginning because Raylan, obviously, I know is headed into home health, but it's probably one of the populations I'm least interested in, other than like straight out trauma patients, which is part of the ER. But I like the idea of getting ICU experience, because a lot of medically complex kids, you would learn skills in the ICU with them and about meds that a lot of them are on. But yeah, here I am. The good things though, I only have a 1-hour commute, and living in rural Illinois, that really is not bad. And I get to do 12-hour shifts, which also is good. Almost everyone on this rotation has 12-hour shifts, but we did have some shifts where people were at day clinics or day only things, and they had 8-hour shifts, and you have to go do more clinicals in that situation. I will have that the last half of this term. I will have 8-hour shifts, so I'll have to do more. But yeah, I'm saying all that to say Elmhurst has been a great program for me, and for this to be my clinical I'm least happy with is really, that says something. That says it's been a pretty good program for me. But a lot of people have not had the luck I've had with that. And that's probably the biggest thing I would say if you're enrolling in any online program for nursing, whether it's your RN or your NP. Make sure you have in mind some places where you're going to do your clinicals, and get that okayed with people if you can, even ahead of time, because I think a lot of people would have had a lot less stressful experience at Elmhurst had they been able to secure placements in clinicals that they liked. And clinicals is a great opportunity to get your foot in the door with companies. It's a great opportunity to let companies know who you are, let them meet you, see your work ethic. You have a preceptor that gets to know you and can vouch for you, hopefully. So that's something to think about. I'm not super happy with this rotation. There's no ICUs near me. The fact that they gave me clinicals with a cardiovascular step down instead of an ICU at St. John's, I'm not sure why that happened. To me, it's not upsetting enough to try to change. It's just, oh well. And I will learn stuff. As much as I'm not interested in going into cardiovascular, I mean, most of us as we get older end up with cardiovascular issues. So it will be good for my personal knowledge for, understanding older relatives when they're in the hospital or having issues, maybe what's going on, and myself and my husband when we get older. So it's not like it's useless. So, I'm staying put, and I'm not extremely unhappy with it, but I do know I've had classmates that have had to drive a really long way for clinical placements. I've had classmates for the peds unit. At least one was in a school, although I wouldn't have minded doing a rotation of clinicals in a school, because I think being a school nurse is something that could be on my radar in the future, and it'd be interesting to see that. You don't get a lot of experience as a school nurse, especially if you're planning on working in the hospital later. I feel like you're really missing out by not being on a pediatric unit of a hospital or pediatric rehab or something. So that kind of stunk for that person. In mental health, I know one of the students was placed in some sort of like beauty spa weight loss clinic. I don't know. It was definitely not your typical mental health. It was like, it's what it was. A Get Healthier beauty spa that had nurses, for like, I'm guessing IV vitamin drips and stuff like that. And again, if that's like something you're interested in going into, it would be awesome to have that for a clinical rotation. But I don't think this nurse was. Now, on the flip side, like if there's some weird niche you're interested in going into, like dialysis or like school nurse or like, IV nutrition therapy, IV vitamin drips and stuff like that, you do a long distance program and you can try really hard to secure some really unique clinical placement like that to get some key experience for what you're interested in. So as I'm driving to clinicals and kind of not the happiest with my situation, I wanted to use this opportunity to let you guys know, like, it's a pro and a con of this type of schooling, that you don't always end up in the most ideal clinicals, or the exact opposite can happen and you can end up in a super ideal clinical placement. I really wanted to be at Rankin Jordan in St. Louis, where my daughter stayed for, I don't know, we were there, I don't remember now how long we were there, if we were there 3 weeks or a month, but I really wanted to do my peds rotation there, and I tried, and the school tried to, and Rankin Jordan just wasn't open to having people, partly because of COVID. I think if I had lived closer and there was a chance I would have wanted to work there, though, they probably would have made an exception and worked with me. Like, I'm sure they would have. So yeah, it's just a pro and con. I know there's popping up more and more of these long distance remote nursing schools, and overall, I mean, I think it's been a good experience. Every school at times can seem unorganized. They're new programs. I think almost all of these online nursing schools, you know, it's new programs. They're not online schools. They're schools that have an online program. If it's just an online school, run, guys. Florida. But a lot of these schools are starting these online programs, and they're new to it, and there's going to be hiccups, and the whole placing clinicals remotely, like, that's a new thing for people. The people who are trying to do it, to set it up, and hospitals are like, what? You know? But yeah, I encourage you, do some legwork on your own. Try to find your own clinical placements when you can, especially if there's certain positions you're interested in. And I was interested in knowing, would I want to work at our local hospital 15 minutes away? And I did 2 rotations there. And I was really interested in the drug and alcohol rehab center near our house, and I did 1 rotation there for mental health, and that was not a traditional mental health rotation. To do all of my hours at a drug and alcohol rehab facility, that's not a traditional mental health rotation, but it was perfect for me. So yeah, I didn't do enough legwork with this one. I thought I was going to be at the ICU at St. John's. St. John's has an ICU. I don't know why. Didn't end up there, but I'm going to make the best of it, and yeah, it is what it is. But make the best of your clinicals if you're doing long distance, because there's some big pros and there's some big cons, and it's kind of luck of the draw, but you can have some influence over it. Hope that helps you. Sorry for the poor lighting, sorry for not making eye contact with you. It's a very boring straight road I'm on. Anyways, I hope that helps you in your decision if you're trying to decide if you want to do long distance nursing programs or not.